All right, hello and welcome back to the For the Badge podcast. It's been a wild weekend in the Premier League. Lots of action going on, and we're going to get to every single bit of it. But before we do, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, get the notification bell on. Here we go. All right, Lewis, talk to
Bro,
me, man.
what happened?
What happened?
What
Y'all
happened?
weren't y'all weren't bad. I didn't think City were bad against Forest.
No,
Just
I mean,
blew a host of chances.
if you're looking at if the game was about how well did they play, 9 out of 10.
Right.
If it was about formation and movement and creativity, 9 out of 10. If it was about finishing, you
How
got
frustrated was Holland?
1 out of 20. I even have to change the scale. The scale can't be the same. Uh, it's weird because the funny thing is, uh, De Bruyne was. I mean, I don't talk trash about him, but he was bad. He wasn't good in the game, especially when he was shooting. I don't know what he was looking at because it wasn't a
He
goal.
seemed frustrated and just started taking shots.
And there was an impatience there. Holland, like he missed, and he was looking bad, like he didn't know where the goal was.
We've just never
Uh,
seen that from Holland.
well, I think the funny thing is they adjusted the style to get him the ball more, and he got the ball more, and it was exactly there was the press conference or the interview he did where he was like, "Hey, give me the ball," and they got him the ball. He literally had touches where he could take shots and didn't do nothing with it. Foden looked good too. Came back. I mean, obviously, his form and shape was obviously a work in progress. Even at the end, when all he had to do was just glide it over to Holland to finish, and he completely. I mean, I don't know what that was. And the thing is, he was confused. He was a
Yeah.
1,000% confused about what he was supposed to do.
He
And Holland was
I heard,
like, "What are you doing, man?"
I heard some people do like they went in deep on that and they're like, I think he got caught in two minds.
He did.
Because he knew, look, I should pass this, but then he's like, no, I'm gonna cut in and shoot. And then he's like, oh, I should pass this. And then he did neither.
Well, and I get it from the mindset of he's been out and you got to get a goal. So and it was there. The goal was there for
Yeah.
the taking. And if that was the case, he should have just shot. But if the mindset was okay, let me pass to Holland, and this is where form mattered because if he had been playing, he would have passed the ball to the Holland right away. Like it was there. Holland would have beat him down the field, and he would have just tapped it in. That would have been easy. But that's not what happened. And you could see that was just it wasn't a disconnect. You could see the intention, and it was almost too easy. And I think that caused the problem. Um, Even
What
Grealish,
did
and I'm gonna double hypocrisy criticize him. He played a good game. He did. He played a really good game, but he sucks on the wing. I've never seen him cross the ball in the air ever. And the pass that he got to Silva was basically he's turned his shoulders, passed it directly to Silva, and Silva did what he did. He
Yeah.
sucks on the wing. He's awful there. He creates nothing on the wing. I mean, he goes at guys and he gets fouled. I mean, that's cute, but that don't mean nothing. If you
Right.
can't put the ball in the box for the guy that for a 6'5" guy to just put his head on or ninja chop at it, then what are you doing? And that's where when Pep there was a criticism of Pep's management where he took too long to take substitutions. He did, but I kind of understood why he did it because he saw them struggling. And I think in his mind, he was like, they got to get one. They got to get one. And then when they scored, he's like, all right, you got to get me one. And he waited and he's like, all right, I got to take somebody off. And I actually, even though it would have been harsh, I would have taken Grealish off and put Mahrez on the left. So then Mahrez could just fling balls in. But that's not what he did. And so, I mean, defensively, they were fine. I mean, there's the goal that they scored, just it's whatever, man. You kind of if you watch the game, you saw it coming. Like you
Yeah.
kind of saw it coming. Like, if you saw the game, you saw it coming. And now, did I ever did and I don't know if you guys saw, but you never thought City would lose the game. At no point did they look like they
No.
were going to lose the game. But you did look like they did look like they were going to drop points. You're like they're going to freaking draw. Like you could see it. You could see it, and it was a hangover because I think you mentioned in chat it was a hangover from the Arsenal game because Arsenal had a hangover. Both teams had a hangover, and they're like, man, they were just like because it was like a level thing where because it was supposed to be easy for them, and then it wasn't. It wasn't, and they when they got flowing, the other team couldn't take them. And now to Arsenal's credit, even though we're not there yet, they put the goals in when it was time to put goals in.
Right.
City
Found a way.
didn't.
Right.
And that's the difference. I mean, so and again, we've all said it. This we will find out on Tuesday or Wednesday. I can't remember the day that the Champions League match is
Wednesday.
where they are.
Yeah.
We'll find out where they are then because he'll probably go with that same formation. I like the formation. I like the creativity of it, and I think they'll put goals in. And I mean, Pep called him out. He's like, you got to score because managers try to get on him. He tactically, no, that wasn't even tinkering. That looked great what they did. They
It was
looked
the
good.
same thing versus Arsenal. It wasn't tinkering. He did
right,
the
they looked
exact
good.
same thing. Yeah.
It's baiting. It's baiting at this point. That's all it is. It's baiting.
Yeah, they
He's
looked good,
trying
but they couldn't finish.
He's playing chess out there. He's like, okay, well, I'm gonna get them set up and used to us playing here, and then we know what our game plan is. We are disciplined in our game plan. We have this in our we know what we are going to implement this second half, and then even if they change it up to match City, they know that system works. So it's
I think that Pep. I mean, obviously, I may be speaking too soon because it's only been 2 games running. But if this is, if this is like his B formation or his second formation, or like he wants it to be his first formation that he goes with, because we've talked about how he maybe wants to avoid predictability. But against Arsenal, we kind of match it. We kind of go toe to toe. Maybe against United, maybe with Casemiro in there, it's more of a toe-to-toe. But not many teams are going to be able to handle Silva, De Bruyne, Rodri, and you got 4 guys in there. It's just an overload. It's a crazy overload with De Bruyne as kind of floating, and he'll just pop up anywhere. No, he wasn't, stellar as Forest. But I didn't think he was like poor. It's just against this Forest team who I didn't think their block was super low. I didn't think that they didn't press really high either, but it's kind of a mid block, I guess you'd say. And I thought that tactically, ran them over, and a lot of teams like that are going to suffer versus, 4 incredible midfielders, where there's be an overload. But yeah, you gotta score. How Haaland has hit the bar and then blasted into row C19. There's a United fan in C19 that Haaland was like, you know what, I'm going for his face.
That guy.
and Rodri hit it straight at the keeper. I mean, they had like 4 sitters they missed. You can't.
It's the same. And again, do you think? So I only caught glimpses of this City game. Do you think this City got frustrated the same way kind of Chelsea did when it was like, hey, that one didn't go in, that one didn't go in, that one didn't go in? Like, what else do we have to do here? When you're doing everything right, but not getting the result for it.
And the thing is, it wasn't anything they did. It was just City missing. The other team did nothing. They didn't stop anything. They just missed. So,
they had like 4 maybe 5 counters, like made breaks total the whole game. And but you did say it, that it kind of felt in the end like City might drop these points here, from like the 70th on, miss after miss after miss. You're like, this is going to be one of those, they're going to regret this. They're going to regret missing so many chances. And credit Forest. I mean, it wasn't even like it was just break down the side, pop it over for the tap in. It was guy gets Chris Wood free on the back. I mean, it's one of those things where not 37 seconds earlier, the man's just come on, the manager's just put him on, and now the manager's an absolute genius because Chris Wood has had a tap in. I was like, let's commentators, let's pump the brakes on that. But it actually ended up working out. for them.
But I mean, I kind of despise myself for saying City is always going to have an error at the back. I think we always pick City to let one in. It's just what they do. It's just you got to score, and they didn't. So respect, and I give it to everybody. Respect to Knots. They did what they were supposed to do. You get a chance, you score it.
I should have called the draw.
I mean,
you were close.
Should have called a draw.
Keep close.
Man, they're an enigma this season. They've definitely shored up the home form. They've been tough because y'all beat them 5-0.
First time,
yeah. Hollis scored 3. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess this game could have been 5-0, honestly, as well. But
Forest has turned into a fortress at home.
I guess so.
Those fans were. I mean, you were talking about Chelsea. If you could get that atmosphere over at the bridge that they had, my God, you could see it. I was, again, just if I was a neutral, I would have been rooting for them too. They had all the energy, man.
This week goes to Forest.
Goes to Forest fans, yeah.
They were solid, man.
Yeah.
I know we're like 20-something odd games in, but it must be said that green and blue, that highlighter kit that y'all have got is gross, man.
Is it worse than Tottenham's?
I'm not loving it at all.
I'm not allowed to talk trash about Tottenham. They're in 4th place.
Best way to get this season, right there.
Oh yeah, Arsenal, but I think Arsenal normally has really good kits. Period. So I give them credit.
Yeah,
for
whoever
you're got some doozies. That purple and black striped kit was
the Barney kit. Yeah,
that one I wasn't a huge fan of. But yeah, we've had some good ones in the years. Absolutely. Yeah, I think you've got it right though, Lewis. We'll find out on Wednesday where the mentality is. I think we mentioned one thing I do want to mention. A few games ago, a few pods ago, we talked about how Silva was one of the players that maybe wanted out, maybe wasn't really 100% as far as the mental side of it. Ever since all that's come out, he's been immense.
He's still leaving, but yeah, I appreciate how hard he's playing though. But he's been a professional the whole time.
I mean, he'll play Wednesday. I'll be shocked if he's not in the lineup on Wednesday.
Mahrez will be starting on Wednesday too. Grealish will be there to my bit. I really wish, and this is the thing, and it won't. It's unlikely to happen. I don't say won't. It's unlikely to happen. I don't see why Pep just doesn't stick Grealish in the middle of the field. I don't know when he didn't do it.
Play him at left wing back.
Yeah, let him play the left back role.
Just because he don't cross the ball. If you ever watch, he don't. I mean, how do you play out there and that you don't beat anybody for pace and you dribble at people? Just play in the middle of the field.
You want to know what really grinds my gears? Is managers not playing their guys in the middle of the field.
No comment. No comment.
I mean, how can you have those calves and not be able to cross the ball?
Hey, have you ever seen him cross the ball?
No,
never.
Jack Grealish.
Jack Grealish
would rather run down a man and scissor tackle him before he crosses the ball.
Do you know why he doesn't pull his socks up?
That's his style.
He's been doing that forever.
He's a fashionista. He's meant to be like the modern
day
Beckham.
He's replicating that Italian. That was the World Cup.
Since Villa. He's been doing it for years.
Modern day Beckham. That he just was at a small club. They just had a bigger club now, and now he sees them. They make sure he's the face of all kinds of stuff. He's on programs and everything. They make sure his face is out there. He has insane endorsement deals. That's what they want.
He did an Amazon advertisement for Christmas.
He's got to pull money back from
him.
Yep.
Well, I hope they get it back soon so they stop feeling obligated to start him on the wing.
Yeah. Get him a couple more endorsements so he makes that money back and we can get started.
He's not a freaking winger.
Yeah.
I think he works harder than Mahrez, though, but that's just my take on it.
Mahrez produces, though.
I get that.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is they use the statistic. They're like City is 83% when Grealish plays in the game, not start but plays in the game, which is probably true. But that's him coming on as a sub. But since the World Cup, he has I think 3 goals and 3 assists. That's beautiful. What's the team's record since he came back? Because that matters more than the damn personal stats.
Yeah.
All I know is Mahrez has been on fire too, and when he's on fire, the team wins.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
Right.
I wouldn't have dropped Mahrez at all in the last weeks recently. But I'm not Pep Guardiola. As that's pretty obvious.
Well, I think the reason he did that is because he's starting against in the Champions League game, 0 question. Yeah. So why burn him out? And I get that it doesn't make sense to burn him out, but I mean now we talk about Chelsea having 335,000 players on their bench, but City has enough players where you should not have a problem replacing a winger. Right. You shouldn't. There should be no problem replacing a winger, and the fact that Grealish can't cross the ball is still beyond me.
Do you think Alvarez could have a shot, have a go out on the wing?
He should have. Now, you already know where I was. My starting lineup in that game was I wouldn't have played Grealish. I'd have played Alvarez on the left. I'd have played Foden on the right. And I'll let them swing the ball in to the big guy. And I guarantee he would have missed probably 4, but he would have hit 2 of them. He hit 2. And then when De Bruyne was playing you stick Grealish right in the middle and then let Grealish play where he naturally plays.
Yeah. Sounds like a winning recipe to me.
That's what I would do. Feed the beast.
Yeah.
I know less than Pep Guardiola in terms of soccer, so I will not question him. But I feel like even he knows there's more to the Grealish thing than what meets the eye.
Sure.
So what are we thinking? We're going to where is Leipzig?
In Germany.
Germany.
Yeah, Germany. I knew that. So what are we thinking? You got a prediction for us?
Oh, they're winning. They're going to win the game.
We do Champions League for our predictions. Just for fun, I guess. What are we thinking away?
2-0.
I'm a cosign X on the 2-0 because Ederson got to do better too. And they had an interview with him where they said, he actually talked about it. He said when he plays bad, his wife gets on him. And if you know what I mean, get your hands together, man.
That's awesome.
Okay, his wife chastises him. Does that
yeah.
better?
But that's awesome. That's awesome.
That's fantastic.
And so the fact that he said that publicly means he knows where his form has been. And while the second keeper is not like necessarily better than him for like distribution purposes, he's a better keeper than he is. So I mean, if he continues that, they got somebody that'll replace him.
Yeah.
So I think he does get a shutout this game. 2-0.
2-0.
I'll go 3-1 just because I still think City still drops a goal somewhere along the way.
Looks like Leipzig have goals in them. Their last 5 games, they've scored 2, 3, 1, and 3, and then they tied a 0-0 away.
My man Timo
0 last time out away to Wolfsburg. So I don't know. Yeah.
Here comes Timo.
Like I said, I don't really know much about him, but I expect City to. I expect him to be sharp. I expect him to, Haaland gets mad. He'll be pissed about this.
Mad, right?
He'll be pissed.
He misses the Bundesliga, so he's gonna get his Bundesliga on.
Yeah, he's gonna go to he's like, man, I love playing in Leipzig. I remember this stadium.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, I think that'll about do it for us as well. We've gotten quite the distance this evening. But go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, get the notification bell on. This has been the For the Badge podcast. Hope you've enjoyed it. I know I have. Have a good night.